In today's Pravachan, Maharaj beautifully guided us to the eternal truth, that real contentment cannot be found in worldly achievements, possessions, or relationships, but only in God. He reminded us that while our mind and intellect can easily be influenced by external circumstances, the heart that is anchored in the divine remains unshaken. Maharaj's words served as a clarion call to examine our own lives. Are we seeking satisfaction in temporary things, or are we fixed on the eternal source of joy? This theme was further illuminated through a powerful real-life story, showing how firm determination in spiritual practice leads to unshakable peace. What appeals to our sense of logic and also tallies with our experience can be accepted as the truth, disregarding opposing thought or advice. For this, we must be sure that our logical faculty is reliable and experience broad-based. In today's world, we find that thoughts and intellect can be easily swayed. To maintain them against persuasion or opposition is by no means easy. Even right-minded persons may have their opinions challenged, modified, reversed. I do not ask you to accept a statement merely because it appears in the scriptures, nor because I make it. But I put it to you, consider your own experience, and decide whether you wish for real contentment, and you will arrive at the conclusion that such real contentment is not to be found anywhere but in God, the Supreme Being. If so, determine that you will stick to this conviction, come what may. I shall narrate to you a true incident illustrating what firm determination can achieve. In a certain town there lived a man of about 60, who employed his bright brain in deriding others by putting disconcerting questions. Once a visiting sadhu was delivering a highly interesting address on devotion, and the audience was listening with rapt attention, when this man suddenly rose and put an utterly irrelevant question. "Sir," he said, "instead of talking about futile theoretical things like God and devotion, tell me about a matter of close concern. When will this country achieve political independence?" The sadhu calmly replied, "We'll talk about it later, but tell me, now you are pretty advanced in age, and there is no knowing when death may pounce on you. Have you ever thought of achieving independence from the 1,001 bonds that will have to be severed, and the bodily ailments you may have to face when death finally closes his clutches on you?" This counter-question not only silenced him, but set him thinking. He called on the sadhu later and said, "I had never thought about those crucial points before, but now tell me what I ought to do." The sadhu said, "Eschew talking for 2 years and engage yourself in ceaseless nama-smarana." He followed the injunction resolutely, and when after 2 years he met the sadhu again, he said with tears in his eyes, "Sir, intense nama-smarana has given me thorough contentment, and now I need nothing more." Kulasekhara Alvar, the royal saint king of the Chera dynasty, is a shining example of one who found complete satisfaction in God alone. Although he was born into immense royal luxury, his heart was always, immersed in the glories of Lord Rama and Krishna. One incident from his life reflects this truth powerfully. As king, Kulasekhara would often sit in his royal court listening to the recitation of the Ramayana. When the reader would reach the scene where Lord Rama is battling the Rakshasas, Kulasekhara would become so overwhelmed with devotion that he would immediately order his army to prepare for battle, believing that he himself must go to aid Rama. His ministers had to gently remind him that these events took place ages ago. The point here is that even though he had power, wealth, and authority, Kulasekhara's heart did not find contentment in ruling the kingdom. His joy was in hearing the Lord's names and leelas. He later renounced the throne entirely, spending his remaining life in temple service and composing the deeply devotional Perumal Tirumoji. For him, all royal pleasures were like straw compared to the bliss of God's presence. A living testimony to today's message that contentment is found only in God. Maharaj's Pravachan today reminds us that the restless search for satisfaction in the outer world will always end in disappointment. Just as Kulasekhara Alvar left behind the grandeur of a kingdom to immerse in divine remembrance, We too must anchor our hearts in the Lord through constant nama-smarana. In the end, all else will fade, but the joy of God's presence will remain forever, unchanging and complete.